Hello, this is Martha with Martha's Creative Life. Welcome back to the channel where we get to be creative and I get to share it with you. What we are doing today in this video is I'm going to share with you a story about what my bestest sister-in-law and I, Stephanie, are doing for the year 2023. Can you guess what it is? We are trying to be fabric free. Well, what does fabric free mean? It doesn't mean we're getting rid of our fabric. We are trying to use what's in our sewing room. So do you have a pile of fabric like this and you don't know what to do with it yet? Maybe it's just sitting there begging you, hey, Martha, come make something, come do something with me. Let's be creative together and let's make a quilt. Does your fabric talk to you? Mine does. So anyway, what we decided in the year 2023, we were intentionally not gonna go to the store. We weren't gonna go purchase stuff online unless it was under the stipulation that we needed it for a backing, or we needed it for a background, or we needed the batting inside of the quilt. There were stipulations to it so that we, had a little bit of freedom if we wanted to, buy something, or if there was something that we absolutely had to have, something that we just couldn't pass up, we do have the freedom to do that. But what it is it's giving us freedom to be able to save the money that we would normally spend on fabric. Maybe we want it for a special project. Maybe we need it for taking it to the long arm, just changing how we use our funds for our fabric. So this is not to mean that you cannot go to the store and go buy something at the quilt store or buy something online. We all will do what's best for us, but we're just trying to save a little bit of money and just see what we can use. It's freeing knowing that you can go to your sewing room, pick something that you already have, and go ahead and dive in. Cut it open, cut the package open, and start cutting on the fabric, start sewing it. And you can do it from your home. I had gotten some fabric from one of my coworkers. His daughter years ago had bought a Riley Blake layer cake, and she wound up not using it. She tried to sew it together, just didn't turn out. So years later, fast forward years later, my coworker, he said, hey, do you want this fabric? I'm not quite sure what it is. It's just a bag of fabric. My daughter tried to sew, she didn't like it. And do you want it? And I'm like, yes, of course I'd like it. So kind of on the fabric free 2023, I took it and then I thought, well, what can I make with it? So I got to thinking, and one of my husband's coworkers, she's having a baby in June, and thought I would go ahead and make her a baby quilt because she's so very special to us. And it's a layer cake. So I was like, well, what could I do with a layer cake? What kind of pattern could I use? So, in the essence of, not spending any money, I actually went to Fat Quarter Shop. They have lots of free patterns there, and you can actually choose a pattern for a jelly roll, or you can choose a pattern for a layer cake or a charm pack. And those patterns are free, and you can just print them out, put them in your binder, or put them in a special place that you keep your patterns, and you don't have to pay anything for it. This one is Layers of Charm quilt pattern by Fat Quarter Shop. I'll go ahead and show it to you. That's what the pattern looked like. And it makes from the size of a king quilt all the way down to a table runner. So there was all kind of options that you could choose from. So I took the layer cake and I cut, because this is 10 inches. So to backtrack real quick, if you're not quite sure what a layer cake is, a layer cake is 10 inches square. So 10 inches this way, 10 inches this way, and that's what consists of a layer cake. It's already pre-cut. Can you make your own layer cakes? Yes, you can. You're just cutting out 10-inch square pieces of fabric. So I took it and I cut it down because I did not have any binding or fabric that was going to match it, and I wanted to make a baby quilt. I knew I had a layer cake, so I was like, what can I make with this? Let's just go for it and see what comes of the pattern and the fabric, and just let it create kind of on its own with the pattern. So I cut a 2.5 inch strip across the top. I cut a 2.5 inch strip down the bottom, which left 7.5 inches square here. So it made it smaller and it wasn't so big because I wanted to make it a baby quilt. I didn't want it to be this huge baby quilt. In the end, it wound up being 37 by 37, which was perfect. I actually had enough fabric left over to make a secondary baby quilt. So I call it the baby quilt. And I just used up all the extra fabric that was left over from the first one and put it in the second one. I didn't use a pattern on that one. I just started sewing, made it into about a rectangle size. And I want to say it was like maybe 24 by 28. And it was wound up being a cute baby quilt. The backing for the baby quilt, I used the fabric that I had in my stash. And the backing of the baby quilt, the one that was about 37 by 37 that actually used the layer cake, I didn't have enough fabric in my stash. So remember, Stephanie and I made a stipulation that if we needed background fabric or backing fabric, we could go to the store. So I did go to my local quilt store and I found some cute fabric that was for Valentine's Day, but it was pink. It was perfect. It matched the fabric. I took some of the fabric with me, and even though it wasn't the same line, it worked out perfectly. So I used, I did go to the store to get the backing fabric for the baby quilt. So see, you do have a little bit of flexibility. It's your rules, how you want to do it. There's not any steadfast rules that, no, you can't buy any fabric in the month of April or May or June. You can only buy it on this, and this. Make it your own if you decide that this is something that you like to do. We just wanted to be able to save and have a little bit more spending money to do for other things, you know, that we wanted to do in our sewing room. I personally would like to have a different iron than what I have right now. I'd like to have a bigger little ironing mat that I can use for my gnomes that I'm working on. So just, it's how you make it and what you want to do with it. If you decide 6 months down the road you're done and you want to go back, go for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you some of the clips and a couple of the videos that I had of the process of making the baby quilts. I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know what you think. Tell me down in the comments, are you enjoying this type of video? Do you think you're going to enjoy this type of series? I'd love to be able to share some resources and just some ideas and tricks up my sleeve that you might can use to just be able to, you know, sew from your sewing stash. And so anyway, let me know what you think. I'll talk to you soon. I'll go ahead and show you. It turned out wonderful and it was so easy to put together. So the white fabric that you see here, right here, that is a different fabric. It was just a white fabric that I had in my stash. And then this here is the Riley Blake fabric. I used up everything for the layer cake, and I have a bonus surprise to share with you as well with what I did with all the extra fabric that was left over. So the binding, I took the strips and made the binding. So it's scrappy binding, and I thought it turned out really, really well. The quilting, I do not have a long arm, so all of mine I do on my domestic sewing machine. And this size was really perfect to do as well. So I just did some straight line stitching here, 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 and then here. So I've already washed it. It's all crinkly. It's perfect. So I took everything that was left over and I made a baby quilt. So here's what it looks like. And it was more of a scrappy And then on the back, I just used some fabric that I had in my stash. So I didn't even have to go to the store to find that. So that was super awesome. Okay, so now that I'm done showing you some of the pictures and some of the videos of the baby quilt, what did you think? I really loved it. The mama-to-be absolutely loved it. Everybody that was there at the baby shower loved it so much, and she felt so loved, and I hope that the baby feels so loved when she's born in a couple of months. So until next time, I will see you soon here on the channel, and please leave me a comment. Have any questions, let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and share with a friend. And if you have not already, I'd love to have you in our community here. Until next time, take care. Bye.